This, I do believe, is cedar. So what we're gonna do today, kind of improv, not out in the woods, just in the yard. We're gonna process this and see if we can make it take a spark. Here's what we have. Promise you, this has been soaking for over 72 hours. This is not pine. Most of us already know that fatwood comes from pine, which is why pine is such a great plant, or tree, excuse me, tree to know, as well as the roots for, easy cordage, all sorts of stuff. Hemlock also has fatwood properties similar to pine, not quite as potent, but still an effective source to make fire in the rain if all you have is something to create sparks and something to cut. This, I do believe, is cedar. But again, similar growth patterns to pine and hemlock. We got striations running, with the branch, and then where it connects to the tree with the elbow, it switches very, very quickly. So that's an indicator. Most conifers in western North Carolina grow like this. So what we're gonna do today, kind of improv, not out in the woods, just in the yard. We're gonna process this and see if we can make it take a spark. So again, been soaking over 72 hours. Let's get started. Okay. Want to get a good starting point. There you go. Kind of just dolt the tip so I have something to work with. Easier to target my location. Okay, so you can already see right now we have properties that do resemble fatwood. Orangish, yellowish, waxy, sticky looking. It is a little bit sticky. It does smell a little bit like fatwood, like a very, very weak scent. Well, it's sticking somewhat. Let's keep going. And it's very hard like fatwood. Let me see if I'm trying to break this down so I'm not working with this awkward angle. Jeez. It's like hitting a concrete wall with a wooden baseball bat. Or metal. Because wood actually transfers a little less vibrations. Okay, so we're looking all right. This is actually pretty good looking. Instead of digging through this, I'm just going to go ahead and process this and see what we see. So I'll switch to my smaller knife. Mora. Oh, look how beautiful that is. The amber color. Okay, so generally what we do is we split to the center of it, where usually that's where all the really good potent stuff is. But this one seems to be much easier to access. So this could be a great learning lesson for a lot of us. I believe this is cedar. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's not pine or hemlock. But if this works, we just found, in all seriousness, that might change the whole survival game. Because getting to the center of this without a knife is really hard. I mean, you saw I have a big sharp knife, big baton. If you didn't have that, all you had was maybe some sharp rocks, some flint knapping. It'd be a lot easier to get to this than it would the center. So I'm gonna clean it up. Let's just go for that. Let's see what happens. So all I'm really trying to do is find a nice big area stacked that I can access. So, I mean, all this beautiful color. What I can do is get my knife and do these long strokes versus like, if there was only orange here and here, I'd have to like scrape. With this, I can rake into it, get a lot done in minimal time. Clean workspace. I'm gonna try to get everything on the rock here. And any excess I can gather here in a minute. Okay, and again, this has been soaking for over 3 days. It's really important to have like a good, strong working position. Right now, I can kind of rest my body weight onto the post. So I'm doing a couple things. I'm putting all my body weight into here, which makes it easier on my body. So I'm not, trying to bend over, for 5 minutes doing this. My back's all tired. Like, no, just put your weight into here, save your body energy, and you need to do it anyway to support this. So I'm not going to build a fire, but if I can get a 10-second flame with this material, and I have all this left to process, I have zero doubts that in just simple wet conditions, I'm not saying windy or lightning storms, I'm saying just in wet conditions, if I can get this flame to take for 10 seconds, I have zero doubt that in that situation, I can get a fire going. There we go. Got my life bivvy here. Let me just use that as an anchor base. And yes, I could shave some of my ferro rod off, but I want to see how this works. This is going to work. I want to see how it works just like this. So don't give up if you're taking quite a few strikes, because every little spark that sits there for even half a second is creating heat, which is going to help dry this out just a tiny bit. And every little bit it's drier, the more likely it is to catch. There you have it. Things just changed. And next, what we would do is we would already have some longer shavings, chunks like that, but ideally toothpicks. That's fine. That was more than 10 seconds. I'm not prepared to do any more, but we would shave ideally pencil size. So that's where having a big knife would come in handy. If we could split this just like a log, split it in the middle, split it in like half, then quarters, then eighths, then sixteenths, and then 30-seconds, then 64ths, all that, until we have a bunch of like really small, almost pencil lead or pencil size fatwood shards. And we would already have that processed, ready to apply. So I'm starting to think most evergreen coniferous trees have fatwood. So far, pine, which most of us already know. Hemlock, that's new. Dave and I discovered that shooting the Lost Hunter series. We're like, let's mess around and find out. See what we find. And hemlock also has fatwood properties. We did the same thing I just did with all sorts of different pine, Virginia pine, white pine, then hemlock, and now cedar. So go out, try it out, send me a message. Let me know if you have a coniferous tree, evergreen, that didn't work. Stay alive as long as you can.